Donald Trump just issued a major warning that suggests Donald Trump may be much more involved in the coming moments in the war in Iran. Take a look at this following Truth Social post. On Truth Social, Donald Trump warns, Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame. What a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, the capital of Iran. Now, at the same time as this is occurring, Donald Trump is immediately departing, well, after he has his dinner from the G7, the Group of Seven meeting today, to the Washington, Situation Room in the White House, and he's requesting that his national security staff be present when he gets back tonight. Mind you, it's already past 9 p.m. He's not back in the Situation Room right now, but he's requesting that his national security staff be on standby when he comes back to the White House this evening, and he's returning to the White House for quote-unquote obvious reasons as soon as possible. Now, immediately people started believing, oh my gosh, this means the United States is going to strike Iran tonight. And the odds of a nuclear deal fell on the polymarket betting markets, but also the odds of a military action in Iran before July skyrocketed from somewhere around in the 30% range all the way as high as nearly 70% before falling slightly. Now, why would the odds fall slightly? Well, because all of a sudden you had people like Alex Pfeiffer, the deputy assistant to the president and principal deputy of communications, end up coming out saying, whoa, hold on a second. American forces are just maintaining their defensive posture. We will protect troops and our interests. This is a way of saying like, whoa, we don't plan to strike Iran, which is technically what Donald Trump said earlier today. Oh yeah, we might be moving Nimitz-class warships and carrier strike groups and refueling planes. We might be moving these planes and assets into the region. Oh, but don't worry, we don't plan to use them. Now, of course, this led a lot of people, including myself, to believe, okay, well, maybe this is just a way of A, being prepared in the event that Iran strikes American bases, and B, potentially using it as a negotiating threat. Well, now the New York Times is breaking that they ended up getting intel here that President Trump tonight is weighing a critical decision in the 4-day-old war as to whether or not to enter the fray by helping Israel destroy the deeply buried nuclear enrichment facility at Fordow, which can only be reached by American bunker buster bombs. So Donald Trump may actually be going into the Situation Room tonight. It is obviously speculated based on this information right here, not to have the United States attack Iran directly, but to potentially supervise Israel attack Iran in the taking out of multiple nuclear facilities with American B-2 bomber equipment and B-2, essentially bunker buster bombs. Now, it's unclear if American pilots would be involved or if it's sort of like, we're going to look away, here are the keys, you do you. But anyway, if he decides to go ahead, the United States will become a direct participant in a new conflict in the Middle East, taking on Iran in exactly the kind of war that Donald Trump swore in 2 campaigns he would avoid. Iranian officials have already warned that U.S. participation in the attacks on its facilities will imperil any remaining chance of a nuclear disarmament deal that Donald Trump insists he is very interested in pursuing. Also, again, saying earlier today that he believes that a deal can still be struck. So it's kind of odd that all of a sudden Donald Trump is not only warning Tehran, which is really interesting because it has nothing to do with Isfahan or Fordow, the nuclear facilities, but he's issuing a warning directly to the people of Iran, which now, in fairness, the Israelis have already been issuing those warnings, and it makes sense because they're directly involved in striking areas like Iran, or Tehran rather, and we've seen Iranians leave. They've been heeding this notice and they've been leading. Well, now that Donald Trump has said it, there are even more cars on the road than there were before. Even more. Let me look at this. This looks like the 405 in Los Angeles on a normal day. But this is not Los Angeles where there's, some major... Let's not complain about Gavin Newsom in Los Angeles anymore, where there's some major problems. Something going wrong upstairs, maybe a few screw looses. This is Tehran. Obviously they wouldn't have traffic issues like LA. And so look, everybody's clogging up the roads, getting out of here because now Donald Trump has issued the warning to evacuate Tehran. So now we're kind of in this like chaotic moment where there's even a report that Khamenei, the Ayatollah, called Netanyahu and quote unquote begged him not to allow the US to use Iran's airspace, which I kind of I can't verify that. That to me seems a little loose, and it's being shared by somebody who's notoriously only sharing Israeli propaganda. So I want to hold that one with a little asterisk, okay? But there's actual intelligence now that 8 US senators have introduced a bill to prevent the United States from entering war with Iran. Here it is. Sanders, for example, introduces the No War Against Iran Act. Mind you that the rules are such that a president can only enter a war without the authorization of Congress for 60 days. And then you need, essentially you need Congress to say, you know what, we approve or deny. Donald Trump then goes on his Truth Social account, not only to say everyone should evacuate immediately, but he goes on to say, somebody please explain to Kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is making some people want to buy gold to diversify. And I call myself the no pressure agent. And that's what Lear is, a no pressure company for buying gold. It's the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee, over 27 years in the business, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions with thousands of 5-star reviews. Now, look, we've already talked market almost daily here. We know every institution seems to be hyping up gold, and it makes sense. Because if we're going to head into a recession, it's not so much the volatility of the recession when it comes to gold prices you want to worry about. Certainly a safe haven asset. But you know what I think. When that money printer turns on again, you know what people like investing in. And that's why people like diversifying away from paper money and getting into a safe haven asset like gold. So if you're interested in diversifying to gold, check out Lear Capital. Give them a ring or go to their website. You can call 1-800-707-4575 or go to Lear, that's Lear, Kevin.com for your free gold and silver reports, as well as investor kit to learn how easy it is to own gold or silver in your IRA, or just have it delivered to your door and you can do whatever you want with it. Under the mattress, in a safe, or you decide. Anyway, give Lear Capital a shot over at 1-800-707-4575 or learkevin.com. Also, keep this in mind. First-time buyers can get up to a $15,000 bonus in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. So make sure when you call 1-800-707-4575 or you go to Lear Capital's website, learkevin.com, you ask them about that $15,000 bonus. Make sure to let them know Meet Kevin sent you. Now here's some additional intel apparently on this live blog here on what's going on. Trump has directed his team to attempt meeting with the Iranians as quickly as possible. So who knows? Is this really just a diplomatic situation room meeting or what? Since Israel has launched its first wave of missiles, the president has made publicly that Iran should come to the table and strike a deal. In conversations with European leaders at the G7 in Canada, Trump told his counterparts that discussions were underway to obtain a ceasefire. However, a U.S. official told CNN while nothing was said, Israel and Iran were moving in the right direction. Trump acknowledged this. I think Iran basically is at the negotiating table. They want to make a deal, he said, before his team announced he would depart Canada early to Washington to the Situation Room to quote-unquote monitor the situation. So again, so far, the official position is, hey, we're not going to join the war. You've got senators that are like, please don't join the war. You've got rumors that Khamenei is like, please don't let the U.S. join the war. At the same time, you've got this reporting out that this is it. This is the last chance to make a deal with the United States, or the United States could end up authorizing the use of bunker buster bombs, again, handing the keys over or what, enabling Israel to finish the job. Because theoretically, if maybe the job gets finished, then the war can end. Now, it's unclear what's going to happen tonight, but obviously we're going to pay very close attention to what's going on here. The Pentagon chief, Mr. Hegseth, defense secretary, obviously says the United States is vigilant and prepared. The United States will defend its assets in the region. There is also commentary that, let's see, I just saw this one come through, which is wild to me. Trump is expected to sign a presidential order to join the war in the coming hours. Again, it's unclear if that means we're going to actually join the war with troops or we're going to hand over some keys. Entirely unclear. A lot of this is just now breaking news over the last hour-ish here. And now we're in sort of a wait-and-see situation where everybody's kind of wondering, what does Donald Trump mean? This is essentially the classic chaos theory that Donald Trump tends to, well, implement. Now, the success of that, I suppose we'll see.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.